So welcome back to my channel. This is my very first story time. Yay! I'm so excited. Yeah, I'm all smiles, but it's a really serious story. It's about the time I was almost kidnapped, as you saw in the title. And so it starts basically when I was in Georgia. I'm originally from Omaha, Nebraska, but I was living in Georgia at the time. And I worked night shift. I actually worked night shift for this company for 5 years, and I loved it. I swore I would never take a job working days ever again. And when I got off, I always got off at 2:30, around 2:30 in the morning, 3 in the morning at the latest. And when I got off, it was just like if you had a daytime job, if you got off at 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, whatever. You don't just go to bed when you go home. You go home, you wind down, you have something to drink, not necessarily alcohol. You have dinner, all that good stuff. You wind down. You don't just go straight to sleep. You watch TV, talk to your family, whatever. So when I got off at 2:30, 3 in the morning, I was still, you know, up and ready to go places, talk to people. And Walmart happened to be my favorite place to stop. I don't know, Walmart was like, Walmart's always open. It's, you know, where you go after you leave the club, the Waffle House. If you can't sleep at night, you go to Walmart. Walmart is like, you know, it's always there. So yeah, usually when I got off in the morning, I would go straight to Walmart. Not really with a plan to buy anything. I just, you know, went there randomly, went up and down the aisles, usually came out with something I didn't need. But so yeah, it was a typical night or morning. After I got off work, I got whatever I got, if I got anything. I can't remember, it was quite a few years ago. But I proceeded to leave the store, and there were cops standing where the entranceway was, and they were talking about a white van. All I heard was, you know, yada yada yada, white van, whatever. I didn't pay it any attention at all. I proceeded to get into my car and I headed home. So I'm approaching a red light, and you know, usually when you're at a red light, I know, at least I just pay, I'm like, I have tunnel vision. I don't usually look around to see who's next to me. I just usually pay attention to what's in front of me. Yeah, I'm not really, I guess I'm not too aware of my surroundings at times. When I'm driving, I just, you know, focus on where I gotta go. I'm not trying to look at people in their face. I'm not trying to do anything. I'm on a mission. I'm trying to get where I'm going, period. I don't know, something about sitting there at the red light at that moment, I felt like turning to my right, and what do you know, there's a white van, and there's a Hispanic person, a Hispanic man sitting in a driver's seat, and he's doing an obscene sign. I'm not going to repeat it, but basically he did the peace sign and he put his tongue in between the peace sign. So I was like, okay, I'm just gonna turn back around, keep my eyes on the road, make sure that when the light turns green, I keep it moving. So the light turns green, I start taking off. I'm like going a little faster than usual because, you know, I was obviously made to feel uncomfortable, and I just wanted to get out of that area right away. So I noticed the white van coming up behind me, and he kind of stayed his distance, but something was like telling me like, hey, yo, this guy is following me. He's not just driving, or, you know, he's definitely following me. And just to make sure he was following me, or that I knew he was following me, I would turn my blinker on my left signal light, or my left I'm sorry, my right blinker light. I would turn that on just periodically when I came close to a corner or a block, just to see if he would do the same. And you know, I didn't have any intentions on turning. I just turned my signal on. He turned his signal on. When I looked in the rearview mirror, he was mimicking. So whenever I had my right signal on, he put his right signal on. So then when I didn't turn on that street and kept it moving and turned my signal off, he turned his signal off. So this happened like 3 or 4 times, and that's when I was like, okay, he's definitely following me. So I get to, sorry about that. So then I come down to the block, the street where I actually live, and I put my signal on, I turn right, and I stayed with my mom and my little brother at the time, so we stayed in some apartment complexes, and so he ended up turning right behind me, and I was like, you know what? I really shouldn't pull into the parking lot of these apartment complexes, because I didn't want if the guy was following me like he was and he was deranged and crazy, I didn't want him to know where I lived, just in case, he wanted to come back. So I kept it moving. I went straight past the apartment complexes where I live, and my aunts happened to stay not too far away from the apartment complex. So I had 3 aunts that stayed right around the corner in a house, and I proceeded to drive to their house, which was like a 5-minute drive away, and they had a driveway that tilted in, or it dipped in, and to go to the garage. So the driveway went down like this into the garage, and I don't know, my crazy behind was like, alright, if I drive to the house and park into their driveway, maybe he'll leave me alone. So I get to the house, I go down into the driveway, the van parks right behind me. So the guy takes the van and parks right behind me, not directly behind me, but where he can block me off, so I couldn't back my vehicle out. So basically, he took his van and he blocked me in, and there was no way I could back out successfully without ramming his van. So he blocked me, and he immediately got out, and I think it was like 4 in the morning by that time, and so I was freaking out. I started laying on the horn. My aunt Debbie happened to be up, which is a miracle because she doesn't hear very well. Sorry, Aunt Debbie, but she'll even admit that she doesn't hear very well. But the fact that she was up and about, for whatever reason, she was able to hear me laying on the horn. And by that time, the guy had got out of his van, came up to the side of my window, and I didn't even look at him. He was just staring at me, like using his eyes to like stare me down, like staring into my soul, or trying to stare into my soul or something. I don't know. And I just would not look at him. I just kept laying on the horn. And finally my Aunt Debbie came to the door, and she opened it, opened the door to the house, and she looked out, and she was like looking at me like I was crazy, like, why did you bring your crazy friends and yourself to our house at 3, 4 in the morning? Like, what are you doing here? And I just kept looking at her and staring at her, hoping that she would read, hello, this is not my friend, call the cops, do something. So then she, put 2 and 2 together, and she was like, sir, can I help you, sir? Just trying to get his attention, because he was right there at the window, just focused on me. Yeah, so she said it a few more times. He never looked at her, he never glanced up, he never flinched. Finally, he decided to get back into his van, and that's when I looked in my rear view, and I could see like There were no windows in the van, and there was a passenger, another guy sitting in the passenger side. And Lord knows if I would have been dragged out that vehicle, if my door wasn't locked, if I would have tried to get out and make a run for it, trying to get in the house, who knows what happened. They definitely weren't up to any good. And with a van like that, and for him to get out and approach my vehicle and stare me down like that, it was spelling trouble all around. So yeah, I waited for the van to pull off till I couldn't see it. It went out of sight. I don't even think I called the cops, or maybe my aunt called the cops, but I waited for it to go out of sight. I ran up the stairs into their house, and I was so relieved. I was just like, oh my God, I can't believe that happened. Like, you hear about these stories all the time on the news, you read them in the paper, and you know, it almost happened to me, like as far as being kidnapped, and who knows what they would have done. They could have raped me, killed me, both, whatever, I don't know, tortured me. But I'm blessed to be alive and to gotten out of that situation. And not only did I drive to my aunt's house, which was definitely something I shouldn't have done, but I wasn't thinking straight. But I was low on gas, because I always used to just put off going to the gas station, because I always used to hate getting on a gas station or pulling up to the gas station and pumping my own gas. So I used to always wait till I was dang near on E to you know, to do anything about it. I would wait till I was basically riding on fumes, you know, before I would fill up my tank. So that was rule number 2 broken. So I drove to my aunt's house. I drove to a familiar home, and then I was driving on fumes dang near. And then 3, I didn't have my phone charged. And these are all things, well, the gas and the phone being charged is something my aunts and my mom used to tell me all the time. Make sure your phone is charged. At least put a phone charger or a car charger in your a phone charger in your car, and always make sure you have at least a half tank of gas. Did I listen to that? No. And that was the worst situation to be in, you know, for something like that to play out that night, or to happen that night. So to have my phone die, and to have no gas, and to drive to my aunt's house, like, yeah, she like told me right away as soon as the door shut behind me. She was like, you know, I'm glad you're safe, I'm glad you're okay, but next time drive to a fire department, drive to a police department. Like, don't bring them to somewhere that you know you're going to be living or spending a lot of time at, because obviously they'll come back if they're, you know, if they're that crazy, you know, to do what they did. They could come back. They know where you live now. So I just, you know, like I said, I wasn't thinking, and I didn't have enough gas to get to the next or the nearest police department anyway. So let that be a lesson to y'all as well. Always keep your phone charged, whether it's just for, I mean, you could be ready to take the bomb picture, you know, wherever you're at, and you're not able to do that because your phone isn't charged. Or you could be in my situation, or the situation that I was in, and end up needing to call for help, 911 or something, or somebody, and not be able to because it's not charged. So yeah, that was a lesson learned. I usually do try to keep my phone charged no matter what. And I live in Italy right now. So yeah, in Italy there's a lot of gas stations where they pump the gas for you. So, but I'm sure when I head back to the States, whenever I get back to the States, I'll make sure to, you know, make sure the gas stays halfway full, if not full, at all times. Or at least not get to the point where I'm driving on fumes. And yeah, so that was the story of me almost being kidnapped, and I'm so thankful that I wasn't. But hopefully you guys like this story, Give me a big thumbs up if you liked it. And I hope you guys have a great day, night, wherever you are at this time. And hope to see you guys in the next video. Peace out.